So first of all, I must say that Varun was a very good number 4 batsman. Then the middle order came in and I think smashed it completely. And now you guys risk losing your lunch, though you did lose your tea. So I will not let that happen. Because the run rate is very strong, I can come out of the crease and start hitting the sixer. And if I get out, I get out. But we have only until 12:30, so that's good enough for us. So I'll just, reflect upon a few things that was said by the players. And, a lot of technology, etc. presentation is pretty much similar to what I have, to what both Srirang and Rakesh have explained. But let me just reflect on a few things. Rakesh said that an MBA degree is just a nightclub pass which lets you in. But let me tell you, the same bouncer at the nightclub uses artificial intelligence to know how much you are going to spend. So he may not allow you just because you have a degree. So you need to have the right degree and the ability to convince the bouncer that you are going to be useful to the club. So I think that is a very important aspect. And that comes to a larger question of skilling. While Rakesh also mentioned that he's come to a campus after 31 years, I have come to this campus after 2 months because I teach the MBA course here. And I must tell you, when I have observed the MBA students here, a lot of intelligent brains, a lot of those intelligent brains need to understand, and I think this journal coming out and this interaction happening today is very useful because they need to know the changing realities of the corporate world. Banking in particular, but the rest of the sectors too. Every day it is changing. I mean, as Srirang explained how ICICI has transformed. Good old days, I have been associated with ICICI since, 1990 something. Correct? All through, ICICI was a corporate bank, DFI, when I started knowing it. The merger happened within ICICI and ICICI Bank, suddenly got transformed into a commercial bank. Ran pretty much like a corporate bank for as long as I knew. And suddenly we now talk about customer 360. It's a change. And that change is happening every day. This transformation that's been brought about in an ICICI bank, or now with the merger of HDFC and HDFC Bank, transforming itself from a largish mortgage company into a very large commercial bank, the largest in terms of market cap for sure, is a transformation. The cross-sell that will happen between a mortgage customer and the rest of the bank's products is a transformation. And they will go through that every day. And I'm sure these two gentlemen here sitting in here will not know what is going to happen in the next 2 months because it will change. And hence, the ability of our students to keep themselves abreast with what is happening before they enter the corporate world is going to be extremely critical. That's what I meant by the bouncer not allowing you into nightclub. And that's a very kind of relevant thing that will come by. Also, one has to remember that because organizations are getting so lateral in their thinking, they want this new blood to come in. Believe me, all the seniors, including me here, do not know the future. We have a mind clock, possibly most of you here, as Rakesh said, that we are all the 90s lot. The 90s lot does not know what the millennial of 2025 needs. It is your students who will know what they need. And that is precisely what the sector wants to capture from you students. So the lateral thinking of the students becomes extremely important. To say that take risks because they will pay off is extremely important. And that, I think, will lead to making sure that organizations also will show a lot of empathy towards the new students coming in. And by the way, empathy here is not charity. It's not to say that let me give the students a chance. It is going to be the more I allow their minds to wander, the more they will want to come in. But the students will have to have that feature that their minds wander. that they are able to bring newer ideas to the organization. And the organization will figure out ways of scaling those ideas. But that will be extremely important. Now, how do we make sure our students think wide? So be part of associations within the campus. Be part of technology seminars. Think technology. Because that is one fact, that banking, for sure, every other sector too, is now technology based. We have, in 2020, we had 64 zettabytes of data. 2025, we are expected to double that. What that means is that by 2025, a lot of the data that we will collect will be current, will be 2 to 3 years old. So whether you updated your KYC in 1990 may or may not matter. However, it is extremely important that we update that data, because that 1990 person has now moved to be an HNI. And you may completely want to sell different products. Secondly, as Srirang said, what you may sell to a Kolaba in Bombay and what you may sell to a Dombivali, or I'd rather say Kandivali for a reason, may be different in the 1990s and the early 2000s. But 2025, I can assure you there are a lot of HNIs in Kandivali. And your branch will have to move, your bank will have to adapt. And that is happening on a very continuous and daily basis. Why is it happening? It's this, right? Why is it happening? India as an economy is expected to grow from 3.5 trillion to 26 trillion. That's what EY, and our per capita income is going to go up to 15,000. That's our estimation. And that's happening pretty fast. We are going to be the office of the world. Now, when you look at it, you know, we said technology spend is 11% globally, 1% in India. Yes, it is 1% in India. Technology spend overseas also was a result of the 2008 meltdown, where a lot of technology spend was in risk. And from risk, now there is consumerism. And India, by the way, is expanding at a much faster rate. It may be 1% today, will suddenly become 5%. Because what do we have? We are the office of the world. We have 1,500 global captive centers being operated out of here, where global functions are performed here. Just by the way, by contrast, in my financial services business in EY, 72% of my business is global business. 72%. Some massive amount of business. Secondly, we have the largest amount of startup ecosystems. We are the factory, we are likely to become the factory of the world with PLI happening. So the manufacturing is gaining, it's a slower pace, but that's happening fast. Credit growth is expected to go up because credit is quite subdued at this point in time. Digital infrastructure in India is coming up, and our working population is very much on the positive side. There's something on India's population, but what I want to focus on, given the time, is on the digital public infrastructure. This is what leads to all the banks having all the initiatives that they have today. And the expected spike in growth that we will see in India is because of our digital public infrastructure. And I actually would urge that students need to know more and more about what this digital infrastructure offers. What does ONDC offer? What is the logic? And maybe a course around what does ONGC offer? What does OCEN offer? The whole credit marketplace, account aggregator models. What do NPCI offer in terms of payments? We've revolutionized all the payments businesses. The e-Sammati, the consent verification, the digital verification factor, the Aadhaar KYC. These are all going to become things which will enable you to collect data in the right form for it to be credit worthy. And this platform is coming up very fast. It's already come up. A lot of it is in the process, but a lot of the bedrock of whatever we do digitally today is dependent on this. So I've been told it's 5 minutes, so I'll complete it in 5 minutes for sure. Data-driven models as explained. One-shop stop for everything. Embedded finance was explained. And coming up of neobanks. Now this is what banking is today. Let's focus on just neobanks. And neobanks is what banking is today. So unless our people understand technology and understand how banking is delivered without there being a presence of a bank. So Bill Gates has said it at one point in time, that there will be banking, but there may not be banks. Quite possible. We'll have to see where this goes. This government-enabled systems is what I kind of a large M&A has happening. Consolidation is big time. I must tell you this, that there's a landmark transaction that's happened, which is Slice getting the banking license for Northeast Bank. For the first time, RBI has given a private equity-backed fintech firm a banking license. God knows what's there to come. Paytm may get a bank license at one time. Never know. We'll have to wait and see. This is the whole range of fintechs. The presentation's available. But this is going to be the whole range of fintechs in data providers, consumers, SME, banking. This is really what, and by the way, which bank is not a fintech today? Look at HDFC Bank. Look at ICICI Bank. They are fintechs. Everything is enabled and thought through as a fintech would do. So when we spoke about the technology spends, while India may have a 1% technology spend, I would love to know what HDFC and ICICI's numbers are. Pretty large. And that's good. That's the way it should be. So I think a lot of the banks, by the way, are investing significantly in technology now, and they will continue to do so. And hence, for our students, it's going to be important to make sure that we deal with that. Now, in terms of capacity build, what's something like EY doing from a consulting point of view? We've increased our technology recruitments by 230%, 650 to 2,200 odd. We've recruited, we've recruited 12x, we've increased the number of industry-based skill sets that we have acquired. So what we do is, your MBAs who may have had industry experience, some people who worked in HDFC or ICICI or any of the other banks, Bajaj Finance, for example. People who have done some stint in those banks, we would love to acquire some of those people because they have done some element of actual implementation. Put them in a consulting environment, they can do a better job. Now that's where recruiting trends are happening. It's very important to understand. And that will increase. So people who come with a lot more experience or are getting exposed hands-on during their internships, etc., would be certainly better targets to look for. Increase in M&A teams. We've actually increased our M&A team by 100%, especially in the financial services with a fintech focus, because that is likely to happen going forward. We see a lot more consolidation happening. We see a lot more fintechs merging into banks. NBFC is buying over fintechs to get originations. That is going to happen. We also have developed 15 in-house products. Now, this is again technology products that we sell people. With the advent of GST, we have tax technology teams. We have consulting technology teams. We have products which bankers can plug and play and use. So ideally, we would tend to recruit more and more people who are on the technology side, who necessarily have a technology background. I don't mean technology people. People who have MBA but with a bent of mind of technology are good enough. They're the best actually. So with that, my 5 minutes are up, Gaurav.
Yeah.
All I want to say is that everything works in the name of AI today. All you need for budget approval is call something AI and you'll get it. Thank you.